Welcome to HFY Sci-Fi channel. Don't forget to subscribe and explore. Ash whirls across corroded transit plates, painting ghosts under cold emergency beacons. Each gust rattles loose signage, soft metallic moans drifting through departure arches once flooded with travelers. Carter steps through drifting cinders, boots marking fresh patterns over layered grit, eyes registering every breach in hull plating. Corridor after corridor stretches in silent procession, light panels powered by intermittent surges that reveal more fractures. Reception counters stand frozen in half-melted shapes, alloy polymer puddled across floor tiles, service drones collapsed amid wiring. Wind borne from breached atmosphere pumps tumbles along mezzanine, carrying curled departure forms. Scraps glide across observation bay, colliding with cracked viewport where an ochre gas giant hovers beyond shattered glass. Orange glare sharpens char lines etched upon security kiosk. In that desolation, a pulse of fear cohabits with stubborn hope inside his chest. Each breath drags scorched air laced with coolant vapor, yet purpose endures. Supplies will run dry before raiders swing back, so salvage becomes pilgrimage. Up on boarding deck 17, cargo skiffs lie fractured, hull seams peeled by explosive tethers. Dried resin clings to weapon scoring, telling hurried boarding tales. Among wreck frames, scattered personal charms, child bead necklaces, utility badges, a faded holiday pennant, bow under soot. An announcement chime triggers without warning, data banks corrupted, syllables melting into distant birdsong. Alarm crimson washes maintenance bulkheads for brief seconds, revealing paddock of escape pods missing from racks, propulsion burns etched along bay walls. Countdown to fresh incursion hangs in air, invisible yet insistent. Intermittent pressure drops produce a low bass rumble that rolls through structural beams, sending ancient banners quivering against pylons. Feral rodents adapted to microgravity scramble across ceiling gratings, bright eyes catching pulsing luminance. Memories crowd his mind. First arrival years earlier, a freshly certified freight pilot chasing contract fortune. Those recollections pass like smoke, replaced by present urge to secure fuel cells, rations, and a jump-capable craft before daylight shift. Every heartbeat invites hazard, yet every moment also opens a door toward redemption. Marketplace concourse rises ahead, ceiling panels sagging, neon vendor banners still glowing in patches. Aromatic imprint of alien spices lingers despite scorched stalls, merging with ozone scent. A service terminal blinks awake as his shadow crosses sensors. Schedule logs roll in corrupted script, while one line repeats in bold, quantum beacon channel active. Curiosity edges past caution. Fingers glide over cracked screen, translating salvageable glyph. Beacon rests atop orbital lift, power state dormant yet attentive. Raiders crave that prize. Carter charts a route through maintenance shafts, pulse syncing with hiss from opening conduit doors. Before steps carry him farther, a faint vibration brushes against boot leather, floor plates breathing beneath ash crust. Air shifts, threading hydroponic nutrients sent from distant dome. Among rust and ruin, life whispers invitation. Ruptured glazing permits emerald shards of light across wilted vine rows, ash drifting through fractured ceiling panes. Humid breath circles ankles, carrying faint sweetness from decomposing herbs still clinging to planters. Metallic boots sink into mossy sludge, each step drawing soft air bubbles to surface. Polymer fans groan overhead, blades warped yet persistent in half-hearted rotation. Moisture beads on skin, mixing with grit gathered during trek across charred concourses. Equipment sensors register subtle motion ahead, a quick pulse among shadows woven by sagging trellis. A slim silhouette unfolds from foliage, frame brittle yet upright. Filament hair clings to cheeks streaked by mineral dust, small gaze fixed upon stranger standing beneath hanging pipes. No alarm siren rises, only hushed respiration shared across ruined greenhouse. Hands lower rifle muzzle, while shoulders absorb weight of choice forming within chest. Ash motes swirl around child's bare feet, toes pressing fragile roots for balance. Lips part, releasing words carried by trembling courage. Will you be my dad? Question hovers in humid aura, fragile yet unyielding. Time stretches, punctuated by drip rhythm from broken irrigation lines. Glove fingertips brush cargo harness, knuckles whitening under internal conflict. Salvage plans, ration calculations, departure routes, all recede behind this imploring gaze. Girl's posture tilts forward, as if fragile twig yearns toward sunlight. Pendant rests against collarbone, bioluminescent filament pulsing in harmony with faint heartbeat visible at thin throat. Pendant pattern mirrors registry codes glimpsed earlier within starport console, proof of beacon link, proof of future raider prize. Boots pivot away from exit hatch, drawing nearer to child. Crackled nutrient trays release damp earth scent as weight shifts across lattice floor. Palms extend, slow, open, offering presence rather than restraint. Wide eyes brighten, though tear tracks remain etched in grime. Surrounding structure seems to awaken with fragile expectation. Overhead pipes exhale warmer air, condensation skimming along corroded metal. Sunlit shard crawls across algae-specked glass, spotlighting pair framed by sagging tomato vines. Outside bulkhead, distant blast door thud reminds of ticking countdown, yet greenhouse clings to fragile hush. Voice roughened by ash replies, words softer than previous commands to gutted service droids. Assurance granted through simple statement of staying, without promise regarding looming dangers yet with entire spirit behind syllables. Shoulders of child relax, knees uncoil, thin arm reaches to grasp offered wrist. Contact sparks tremor within scar-lined knuckles, yet holds firm. Nearby storage rack yields thermal blanket smelling of basil and rust. Fabric wraps around small shoulders, color once vibrant jade, presently muted by soot. Breathing pattern of youngster settles, matching subtle sway of hanging vines. Eyes of salvager scan perimeter, picking path along maintenance catwalk toward service lift leading deeper into hydroponic sector. Each stride must shield fragile companion from shards, from gaps where grating bends outward over coolant reservoir. Free hand secures pendant within pocket, careful to preserve glow. Ceiling beam groans under weight of shattered grow lamp, crystal shards raining across path behind departing figures. Greenhouse size, release of tension echo, halt that term, release of tension rolling through conduit lines. Air grows cooler near junction where corridor joins nutrient pump station. Rust-flecked hatch stands ajar, cables twitch in residual current. Child's grip tightens at distant clamor reverberating through deck plates, perhaps boarding craft piercing lower docks. Heartbeat of guardian aligns with urgent pace, every sense sharpening for safe passage toward medical sublevel where food stores might endure. Hydroponic chamber falls behind, yet memory of whispered plea travels with each breath. Mission shifts, tether formed by quiet voice anchored in marrow rather than protocol. Raiders will pursue pendant, colony husks still house survivors, beacon pulses atop orbital lift. Each detail threads through mind, crafting resolve unbreakable. Step by step, pair advance into dim service artery, lights sputtering overhead. Hum of pump machinery deepens, floor vibrates beneath boots, as though living station acknowledges packed, just forged among burnt leaves and hanging roots. Cargo lift rattles downward through dim shaft, gears grinding under sudden freight. Dust halos rise with each vibration, glimmering around two figures standing shoulder to shoulder. Soft hand hidden in rough glove grasp anchors trust forged amid collapsed vines. Storage deck welcomes with stale bread scent mixed with oxidized lubricant. Stacked meal packs line tilted racks, foil edges peeled by hurried hands during earlier flight. Guardian surveys aisles, selecting protein bars, hydrogel canisters, vitamin capsules. Child mimics movements, cheeks hollow yet eyes bright, as pouches slip into weathered satchel. Promise takes shape in silent ritual of gathering sustenance. Beyond ration shelves, abandoned customs kiosk flickers alive at motion. Holographic prompt offers cargo manifest access. Finger swipes smeared screen, coaxing ancient processor into service. Registry files stutter across cracked glass, yet one column glows clear. Beacon control authorization. Same glyph design gleams upon pendant resting against child's chest. Pendant lifts under beam of hatch light, crystalline lattice revealing pulses synchronized with heart beneath thin rib. Thumb brushes surface. Biometric seal responds, casting spiral of coded light across palm. Interface recognizes owner, gates open within log. Lines reveal jump device dormant atop orbital tower, waiting for genetic key tied to pendant carrier. Pirates crave that gateway, intend rapid plunder once control achieve. Guardian inhales recycled air heavy with coolant, shoulders stiff beneath utility vest. Conflict churns. Swift escape toward friendly trade lane remains possible, yet promise spoken in greenhouse binds spirit tighter than fear. Decision arrives when small fingers tuck pendant under collar and gaze rises, expecting guidance rather than protection alone. Route planning commences across battered concourse maps spread on kiosk counter. Fuel cell cache sits within engineering bay 2 levels above. Medical kits rest inside infirmary wing adjacent to shuttle docks. Service drones require code patch, yet could haul supplies. Each objective marked with stylus strokes quick and decisive. Air duct overhead vibrates, registering distant thrusters from Raider scout sweep. Metal skin of station shivers, lights dim as grid diverts power toward shield remnant. Time shrinks. Satchel strap tightens across chest, rifle secured, child hoisted onto maintenance cart retrofitted as mobile platform. Wheels glide over resin-coated floor, echo, halt that word, reverberation trailing through storage canyon. Passage toward engineering bay runs through corridor bathed in oscillating amber glow. Cooling vents exhale brief gusts, carrying whispers of sea salt from artificial tide pool once housed in recreation sector. Memory of colony prosperity floats through mind, sharpening resolve. Every stride affirms earlier acceptance of guardianship, an oath sealed by hunger-soft voice among rotting vines. At bay entrance, security door hangs crooked, locking pins melted. Crossing threshold reveals rows of fuel rods stacked like choir ranks, green indicator strips blinking. Child remains on cart, eyes tracing guardian's path while multi-tool freeze rod bundles. Metal clank rings out. Headlamp illuminates warning glyph spray-painted by previous defenders. Symbol for impending seizure, a plea for any ally to safeguard beacon. Bundles loaded, cart gains weight yet wheels hold course. Infirmary wing next. Corridor curves past viewport where gas giant looms, saffron clouds swirling. Solar flare crest casts scarlet across Guardian's visor, merging with reflection of small silhouette seated behind. That mirrored tableau stamps purpose deeper than earlier salvage goal. Infirmary door responds sluggishly, servo motors screech. Beds lie overturned, medical scanners silent. Search uncovers stasis injectors, gauze rolls, nutrient 4-pack. Child helps pack items, tiny muscles flexing with new determination. Pendant glow provides lone rhythmic beat inside hushed ward, like soft drum guiding march. Raiders dispatch probe drones. Distant hull clang signals initial breach at auxiliary airlock. Alarm klaxons refuse compliance, circuits fried, yet intuition measures danger interval. Cart wheels spin faster through transit artery, every overhead lamp sputtering as grid falters. Central atrium emerges, grand dome caged by shattered glass, starry voids staring inward. Amid twisted support struts, shuttle platform awaits, though lift motors require manual prime. Fuel rods slot into generator port, hydraulic fluid surges, platform hum begins rise. Child grips railing, eyes wide with mixture of dread and wonder. Upward motion grants view across colony husk, charred plazas stretching toward orbital spine-piercing sky. Dormant beacon crowns that tower, faint aura shimmering like moonlit lake under artificial dawn. Pendant carrier alone can wake device or bury it forever. Guardian kneels, touches forehead to tiny brow, words low yet firm. Promise stands, shelter first, fate of beacon next. Platform docks at habitation ring linking to maintenance elevator. Bulkhead opens onto corridor fresh with ozone, sign of active conduits feeding power upward. Raiders draw closer, yet station itself lends aid through still functioning rails, emergency lifts, flickering signage guiding sprint. Pendant glow brightens, as if sensing proximity to destined throne. Journey continues, pulse of suspense rising with each metal heartbeat. Guardian shoulders burden of rations, fuel, medical hope, yet true weight rests in trust shining from small eyes. Promise delivered amid damp herbs continues to grow, shaping future decisions, forging path toward beacon summit where choice between control and sabotage will decide survival of every soul hiding within silent corridors. Rust-tinted lamps shimmer across rail conduit walls, painting narrow-gauge lanes like arteries pulsing with borrowed current. Gravel dust drifts through stifling air each time magnets cycle beneath corroded plates, ushering a hush broken only by quick breaths from two travelers pushing deeper beneath skeletal Colony Street. Maglev sleds once bright with commuter logos rest toppled upon side rails, carbon frames cracked by overload surges. Control pylons near dormant platforms spark in groaning protest when touched with multi-tool leads, yet circuits still whisper hidden truths. Fingertips coax status glyphs onto fractured displays, revealing power spikes aligned with pirate approach vectors. First surge within 6 hours, second surge half-cycle later. Warm glow from pendant aids decoding by casting coded fractals across console glass, every glint in harmony with faint heartbeats standing beside. Tiny silhouette watches patterns with fierce intent while Guardian traces arrival schedule of Raider skiffs. Timetables scroll, coordinates plotted along northern freight spur where shield lattice thins. Chart marks cargo lifts hijacked for boarding maneuvers. Rails extend into pitch corridor where battery reserves sustain only navigation strips along floor. Boots skim metallic panel edges, crushing shards from shattered service drones. Air thickens with coolant odor as turbines labor overhead, pulling stale oxygen toward agricultural processors farther west. Pulse quickens, each vibration through Sol's signals life stirring below abandoned grid. Hazy illumination broadens near archival spur connecting deep storage vault. Access door lies wedged under cargo crate, yet hydraulic arm from maintenance trolley pries enough clearance. Inside, silence envelopes rows of cryo containers stacked toward horizon, frozen breath from refrigeration vents drifting upward like prayer smoke. Motion detector registers faint heat clusters among crates 8 rows ahead. Guardian lifts palm, signals pause, easing forward with rifle angled low. Soft cough emerges within gloom, followed by whisper pleading for assistance. Beam from wrist torch reveals gaunt mechanic clutching plasma-sealed wound, eyes widening at sight of child cradled behind armored leg. Swift assessment sparks triage response. Medgel patch presses over bleeding seam, biofoam stabilizes tissue. Grateful stare mirrors boundless fatigue yet also dawning belief. Technician shares map drawn in grease upon scrap metal, marking pockets where 50 workers shelter in hibernation alcoves awaiting evacuation that never came. Rail tunnel ceiling trembles under distant detonation reverberating from upper decks. Pirates methodically breach security layers. Console earlier flagged shield capacitor depletion across perimeter grid, indicating countdown toward full incursion shorter than predicted. Guardian hands energy bar to wounded man, instructs him toward assembly zone near infirmary lift where food and heat await. Child steps beside container stack, small palm touching frost-coated surface in gentle farewell to sleepers within. Pendant responds, casting soft pulse that dances across ice crystals. Gesture carries pledge of rescue bigger than words uttered inside greenhouse hours prior. Journey resumes along southern spur branching toward power juncture. Footfalls echo, avoid word echo, footfalls send rhythmic rebound along tunnel curvature, urging swifter pace. Junction Bay reveals generator cluster humming at perilous redline. Surge analysis confirms pirates plan to siphon grid charge for handheld disruptors during boarding rush. Overload protocol initiates upon touchscreen. Sequence redirects surplus into subterranean coolant trenches, reducing output just enough to stall raider armament without crippling life support. Warning klaxon wails through chamber, yet action secures brief advantage. Child covers ears, eyes alert to every flick of glitching filament along overhead cable runs. Console atop breaker cabinet reports revised incursion timetable. Flagship will align with docking spine in under 2 hours, scouting pods already skimming hull seams. Message queue from civilian comm nodes lists surviving pockets requesting extraction. Many occupy this very tunnel network though unaware of each other. Plan crystallizes within Guardian's mind. Guide refugees toward central lift leading skyward, employ pendant authority to bypass lockdown clamps, stage mass ascent onto service elevator that reaches beacon platform. Raiders expect plunder. Instead they will encounter United Colony remnant shielded by quantum lock sequence accessible only through Child's biometric key. Path toward assembly zone crosses coolant gully filled with ankle-deep liquid shimmering under ultraviolet hazard bulbs. Makeshift bridge of vent panels spans hazardous pool. Guardian hoists Child across first, then returns for supply cart heaving with fuel rods and ration crate. Metal groans yet holds, droplets sizzling where residual coolant meets boot. Beyond gully, maintenance gallery broadens into cavernous switching yard. Overhead, transparent conductor tubes reveal magnetite pellets streaking past, Sol system still delivering energy pulses toward orbital spine. That raw power hums with promise and danger alike. Sabotage here could cripple beacon along with pirates, yet colony survivors rely on same feed for breathable atmosphere. Decision waits while footsteps carry pair through yard, but heart already leans toward preservation rather than scorched earth tactic. Pendant's glow brightens each time yard pulses, as if encouraging courage over vengeance. Signal spike rips through wrist console. Pirate drone harnessing station relay pinging seat of artificial gravity controls. Seconds matter. Guardian sets course through hatch leading into gravity bank, preparing countermeasure to scramble drone telemetry without exposing pendant signature. Child trails close, eyes scanning gloom with focus beyond years. Tunnel walls shudder from boarding charge far above, dust drifting like lunar ash. Suspense crests yet resolve hardens. Every breath, every glance at pendant thrum, every rust-smudged console display reminds that first promise binds them to action far heavier than lone survival dream. Pirates spiral into hostile takeover. Beneath battered rails, fresh alliance of survivors, mechanic, guardian, and child prepare to rewrite fate engraved upon rusted colony vaults. Steam hisses from ruptured coolant lines as cart wheels grind across ribbed flooring toward power junction delta. Viscous mist curls around boots, fusing stray sparks into miniature stars that vanish before reaching ceiling struts. A spanner clangs against grated deck. Weary engineer with silvered temples secures insulation plate, voice raspy from recycled air yet steady while requesting fresh capacitors. Medtech kneels beside coolant pool, syringe rig glinting, purging anticoagulant for wounded mechanic trundling beside freight custodians, grizzled siblings whose shoulders still carry warehouse musk. Oxidized control cabinet looms ahead, panels dangling like torn sails. Gloves snap over calloused fingers as latch releases. Corroded breakers reveal copper veins scarred by overload. Child's pendant raises warm illumination, fractal glow guiding engineer's gaze through maze of conduits. Tiny palms hover near casing, yet Guardian's gentle nod grants courage, prompting caretaker instinct inside each newly joined ally. Trust germinates beneath humming transformers, fragile yet vibrant. Medtech unfurls portable med-array atop inverted crate, blue hololiths mapping pulse rhythms of crew. Wounded mechanic breathes easier, dermal patch sealing skin while freight custodians stack ration bricks into barricade around console perimeter. Every motion follows wordless choreography. Engineer rewires bus bars, medtech stabilizes vitals, custodians reinforce choke points with grav clamps scavenged from cargo pallet lock. Emergency grid stutters alive. Crimson hazard strips along corridor edges collapse into cool amber glow. Magnetic shutters across adjoining passages slide shut, funneling intrusion routes toward narrow gauntlet flanked by stacked cargo pods. Guardian calibrates pressure mines fashioned from mining charges, spacing units apart to prevent sympathetic detonation. Sweat beads across brow, yet eyes remain fixed upon glowing pendant, heartbeat pulsing inside crystalline shell, silent pledge demanding safe passage for all who believe. Footfalls approach from service spur. Ragtag courier limps into light, eyes widening at sudden fortification. Custodians usher newcomer behind stacked canisters, medtech extending water flask. Every rescued soul adds resolve, though risk index multiplies. Engineer routes surplus power toward ceiling sprinklers, converting pipes into plasma dispersal grid primed to rain molten copper should boarding drones breach hatch. Station frame vibrates under external blast. Pirates breach southern berth earlier than forecast. Seismic ripple knocks wrench from hand. Child steadies trembling engineer with soft grip, pendant glow flaring as if sensing broader conflict. Guardian's voice, low yet unwavering, outlines retreat vector toward elevator core once grid stabilizes. Alliance nods in unison, fresh unity bridging disparate backgrounds. Terminal beside blast door chirps. Access request flagged with encrypted survivor code. Freight custodians tap command sequence. Portal split reveals lank quartermaster hauling gravity trolley piled with cryo blankets and nutrient packet. Quartermaster exhales relief at sight of organized defense and offers keycards linking upper tram lines. Engineer sidesteps handshake, choosing swift splice that grants group override across maglev switches. Power junction stabilizes. Amber indicators ripple green across panel landscape. Child rests forehead against Guardian's chest for brief heartbeat, drawing courage from steady rhythm he provides. That moment, though fleeting, anchors every adult present, fusing mission to protect small beacon bearer against syndicate hunger closing in. Pirate proximity alarm pulses from wall node. Sensors show insertion pods skimming outer hull toward maintenance spur 8 sectors west. Medtech slings trauma kit, custodians heft grav-wrench poles, engineer pockets plasma cutter. Coalition forms spearpoint, Guardian at lead, pendant brilliance reflecting off rifle barrel. Corridor ahead plunges into blue gloom, only emergency strips guiding march toward central lift. Each footstep syncs with high-frequency tremor humming through deck, reminder of enemy rising through vent shafts in lethal silence. Yet collaborative heartbeat echoes, avoid that term, reverberates between steel walls, stronger than steel bolts newly hammered into barricade. Air thickens with ozone as defensive grid energizes. Orange arcs crawl along pipe lattice above retreating group, promising scorching welcome for intruders. Freight custodians glance back, lips curling into grim satisfaction before shoulders square toward objective. Child glances upward at charged lattice, expression blending awe with fearless trust in those forging safe path. Elevator vestibule finally emerges from shadow, doors half ajar. Power surge ripples through cable spools, engineer slamming override paddle, motors whining to life. Lift deck shutters downward to meet threshold, sparks dancing beneath friction guide. Coalition boards, supplies stacked around center pillar, rifles trained on dim passage. As lift begins ascent toward orbital spine, pendants glow steadies into gentle pulse, matching collective breath of new alliance. Beneath ascending platform, grid hum deepens, mines prime, barricades lock, emergency fences channel pirate vanguard straight into blazing gauntlet. Cold iron faith ties every survivor to quiet voice that once asked for a father and found a family willing to stand. Crimson strobes sweep across comm vault as hijacked burst crackles through rusting plates, syllables warped yet unmistakable. Pirate command channel announcing flagship arrival within orbital cradle. Energy surge courses along conduit veins, vibrating steel bones of settlement, rattling loose shards from cracked viewports. Guardian's pulse matches alarm cadence, while gaze sweeps survivor ranks gathered beside launch corridor. Fractured bulkheads strain above, resin flakes fluttering around anxious faces. Each breath drawn through charcoal filters tastes of heated copper and ozone, stinging lungs yet sharpening resolve. Child grips utility belt, pendant luminance bright against grime-streaked tunic, trust shining brighter than console light. Ration crates slide aside, revealing service lift leading toward escape spoke. Freight custodians yank manual release levers, gears grinding into motion. Engineer punches grid override, rerouting auxiliary power toward pod reactivation sequence. Medtech steadies wounded mechanic upon gravsled, gauze layers shimmering under emergency lamp. Sensors blink, triangulation pings sweep corridor roof, searching for pendant signature. Guardian lifts polymer shield plate salvaged from loading gantry, positions it above small figure, blocking aerial scan beams. Path forward angles through debris field where support girders angle like broken ribs across passage. Metal teeth threaten to snag satchels, yet each stride threads narrow lanes with muscle memory honed in cargo holds across countless star ports. Deck quakes as orbital bombardment cannon aligns overhead, magnetic coil charge thumping through station shell. Shock wave rattles escape spokes, showering sparks that dance across shattered railings. Survivor column presses onward, boots clanging upon grated flooring, hearts drumming in unison. First pod node appears, capsule doors pried open earlier by Raider scouts, yet flight systems remain dormant. Engineer dives beneath console hood, fingers sparking code patches, wiring patched with multicolor filament stripped from servo coils. Guardianship stands sentry, rifle barrel tracking vent shafts, anticipating crawler drones skittering through duct mazes. Medtech ushers injured into capsule, stimulants coursing through veins granting brief clarity. Custodians hoist oxygen canisters, securing straps around bench rails. Capsule lights bloom green, thrusters primed. Hydraulic hiss seals hatch, indicator flashes launch ready. Dock clamps disengage, capsule detaches, drifting through silo throat toward void sprinkled with meteor flash. Surge in conduit grid signals pirate boarding wave slicing through auxiliary airlock miles east. Time compresses. Guardian directs column toward second pod bay, child tucked beneath armored arm. Corridor ahead tilts as gravity ring destabilizes, flooring plates sliding apart. Quick leap carries pair across widening gap, pendant glow trailing comet streak. Custodians relay survivors with cargo net lines, hauling each across chasm before plates shear away into darkness. Second bay hunkers behind half-collapsed blast shutter. Engineer's cutter spits blue-white arc, carving clearance. Inside, pod rests upright yet debris clogs thrust vector vent. Custodians rip away twisted paneling while Medtech recharges power cells from portable pack. Child kneels beside Guardian, tiny palms pressing fresh charge module into socket, actions deft despite trembling fingers. Panel indicators shift amber to green, life support activates, hull pressure equalizes. Another group secured, hatch locks, capsule disgorges down launch throat, engine plume fading beyond shattered viewport. Station shell booms again, flagship railgun delivering kinetic slug into inertial dampener bank. Shock ripples through decks, ceiling plates buckle, luminous wiring cascades like electric vines. Survivor band staggers yet remains upright, urgency unbroken. Next target, central evac hub holding final trio of pods, lies beyond maintenance trench flooded with coolant. Bridge assembly from earlier barricade pressed into service once more. Steel lattice lays across shimmering pool, coolant vapor swirling upward, chilling exposed skin. Column advances, shield plate still guarding pendant bearer, Guardian's boots gripping slick surface, eyes scanning targeting sensors embedded along vent housings. Comms relay new burst. Pirate Marines inbound via drop spears, impact forecast within 7 minutes. Engineer mutters timeline, accelerates stride. Hub doors appear, heavy seals barring entry. Custodian fists hammer manual wheel, muscles bulging, stubborn mechanism yielding under combined effort. Door groans aside, revealing pod cluster faintly lit by emergency lumen strips. Guardian instructs loading sequence. MedTech distributes motion patches for queasy passengers. Child assists elderly stowaway into cushioned seat, pendant glow casting warmth across line features, easing fear. Final safety latch clicked. Pods thunder along rails into freedom, trailing arcs of ion blue toward friendly patrol beacon far beyond station gravity well. Launch silence settles, then conduit siren wails as pirate scanners finally lock upon pendant signal. Pursuers approach through ventilation shafts, magnetic claws scraping inner skin of habitat ring. Guardian scoops child close, pivoting toward maintenance lift rising to orbital tower where beacon core waits. Alliance remains intact. Engineer, medtech, custodians, additional evac tech, each soul ready to defend pendant bearer through final ascent. Corridor lights strobe white as shield grid collapses under flagship override. Sparks rain across plating, yet resolve within survivor party blazes hotter than hull breaches. Weight of promise sealed in greenhouse guides every action, sculpting courage from exhaustion. Lift cage arrives. Gates slide apart. Group steps inside steel womb ascending toward celestial battleground outlined by starlight pouring through cracked dome. Motors whine, lift car surges upward, pressure building in ears while settlement beneath melts into shadow. Pirate drop spears punch through outer hull far below, too late to intercept rising guardians. Pendant's pulse synchronizes with lift ascension, luminance surging with each meter gained. Above waits beacon platform, quantum heart of colony, lure for marauders, final refuge for child whose quiet question forged family from scattered strangers. Sky through shattered upper dome reveals raider flagship, angular leviathan coasting across gas giant glow, plasma vents casting lurid streaks over hull scars. Lift car slices toward tower cap, each passing second thick with resolve, fear, devotion. Storm of steel surrounds settlement, yet small radiance within Guardian's arms burns brighter, guiding alliance toward destiny scrawled across ruined orbit. Elevator cage bursts through misty ozone near orbital rim, hydraulic cords humming under brutal strain. Glacial sunrise spills across plating, throwing long ruby slashes over jump drive beacon, a towering prism of crystal cores bound by carbon struts, each facet alive with dormant starlight. Steel-ribbed platform vibrates beneath boots as fuel cells transfer from grav sled to anchor rings encircling beacon bay. Engineer lashes conduit hoses into reactive mesh while custodians stack rods in triangular formation, crafting improvised nova should pirates breach perimeter. Cold air sears lungs. Every breath mingles fear and raw determination. Alarm klaxon erupts, twin tones bouncing off vaulted arches, reporting boarding pods piercing upper gantry. Railgun bursts rattle station spine below, sending shutter up elevator column, yet crew persists. Medtech preps stimulant vials, syringes aligned beside blast shield, ready for final push. Child steps toward beacon interface, pendant glow pulsing faster, crystalline lattice syncing with rising heartbeat. Hands tremble, tiny fingers brushing gene-lock scanner bathed in cobalt aura. Guardian kneels, palms enveloping hers, warmth wrapping fragile courage, whisper carrying promise forged long hours earlier among wilted vines. Scanner halo widens, azure glyphs spiraling across transparent console. Data spike races through orbital circuits, disengaging safety protocols while offering singular choice. Liberation or doom. Fuel cells hiss, hydrogen cores primed. One coded misstep grants raiders control, yet correct imprint seals gateway for centuries. Deck plates quake. Viewport reveals pirate flagship gliding into final approach, armored prow bristling with assault barges. Turret arrays pivot toward summit, emerald tracers lancing upward, shredding thin debris screen. Shield generator remains offline, leaving only cunning and sacrificial firepower arrayed around beacon. Child inhales, pendant rhythm aligning with pulse of jump core looming above. Guardian's grip holds trembling wrists, guiding slow exhale, channeling focus into fingertip contact. Console reads genome sequence, gold light floods platform, overrides rolling across status columns, access bars locking into permanent freeze. Fuel cell array receives detonation code, failsafe loaded yet dormant, awaiting final authorization. Engineer relays green signal. Custodians raise impact rifles. Medtech braces syringe gun loaded with anesthetic rounds for non-combatants trapped inside pirate rank. Beacon crystal flashes white, radiance surging skyward like morning star. Pirate sensors detect lockdown, command channel explodes with frenzied orders. Assault barges streak closer, exhaust plumes carving twin spirals through mesosphere. Crew stands shoulder to shoulder before control pylon, every gaze fixed upon radiant child whose whisper once birthed unlikely family. Quantum core hum climbs, settling into harmonious thrall with gene-lock seal. Mission achieved, yet peril circles hungry. Guardian releases gentle hold, rises, chambers round, voice cutting through alarm din, defenders ready, fortress holds, promise endures until final breath. Pressure seal buckles as boarding charges rip through outer airlock, white vapor geysers spiraling across platform. Forced hatches grind apart, armored raiders streaming through breach in rippling formation, visors glowing crimson beneath rising dawn glare. Guardian braces rifle against carbon strut, muzzle flashes carving bright arcs that ricochet along rails. Engineer redirects capacitor surge into ceiling grid, bronze sparks cascade onto invaders, momentarily blinding. Medtech propels stimulant dart into mechanic's arm, infusing fresh vigor. Wrench swings hard, fracturing composite visor. Custodians hurl gravity hooks that clamp enemy ankles, kinetic reels yanking armored torsos sideways into spinning fan ducts where blades shear titanium plate. Beacon's crystal heart begins low-frequency hum, ultraviolet fissures creeping across facets as lockdown sequence conflicts with pirate override. Fuel cells encircling base glare incandescent, hydrogen coils quivering toward fusion threshold. Child crouches behind blast shield, pendant brilliance reaching crescendo, pulses sinking with unfolding crisis. Guardian palms detonator stud, single sapphire button poised beneath sweat-slick thumb. Pirate squad advances through debris cloud, shoulder cannons barking ion bursts that sizzle against barricade plating. Carbon smoke swirls around Guardian's boots, rifle magazine empties, pistol slides home. Snap decision sparkles inside stern gaze, thumb presses stud. Fuel cells ignite in disciplined relay, each cylinder spearing copper flame skyward. Beacon base fractures along welded seams, core column tilts, crystal lattice shrieking under torsion. Pressure wave hurls intruders backward, armor skidding across scorched planks, helmets shattering upon support braces. Escape pods, primed earlier, receive launch impulse timed with blast. Magnetic clamps release. Silver capsules streak from subplatform arrays, brilliant tails etching arcs into brightening upper atmosphere. Within each hull, refugees clutch harness straps, eyes fixed on growing fireball far below. Beacon core's breach spreads. Quantum matrices within crystal overload, saturating local gravity field. Pirate flagship looms beyond platform rim, engines flaring to compensate for turbulent pull. Overload surge transforms into violent luminance, shards eject like dying stars, piercing assault barges mid-approach, hull plates peeling under impossible stresses. Tactical displays aboard Leviathan flicker, navigation arrays overwhelmed by data storm. Guardian shields pendant bearer with outstretched arm, fabric cloak ablaze at edges. Shockwave lifts both from deck, yet harness cable attached earlier snaps taut, swinging pair behind collapsed pylon where heat rolls past, singeing visor edges. Engineer hurls emergency seal foam across widening fissure to hold oxygen layer a few breaths longer. Pirate ranks stagger, command signals lost amid electromagnetic torrent emitted by dying drive. Some retreat toward fractured hatch. Others tumble weightless into sky as artificial gravity falters. Above, flagship thrusters stutter, course yawing into debris plume, armored hull pounded by fragments birthed from beacon's agony. Crystal heart shatters completely, violet halo expanding in glorious silence, tactical advantage of raiders ripped apart along with coveted jump technology. Guardian rises, lungs drawing thin air still clinging to platform, gaze sweeping ruin. Fuel cell glow subsides, leaving warped struts and molten rails, yet pendant gleam softens into calm rhythm, mission fulfilled. Child steps forward, soot coating cheeks, small hand sliding into calloused palm. Across horizon, escape pods flare upon re-entry trajectory toward patrol sector where Allied frigates wait. Under glowing ribbons of aurora born from saturated field, improvised family stands amid wreckage, strength forged through promise stronger than steel, while broken enemy drifts powerless within crimson dawn. Starlight filters through reinforced viewport, casting argent streaks across scarred hull of drifting capsule. Navigation thrusters murmur in low cadence, guiding convoy toward patrol beacons pulsing far ahead like lanterns on expansive tide. Radiant debris from shattered beacon glints behind, shimmering reminder of battleground surrendered to silence. Medbay lighting glows muted gold, panels nursing minimal charge while vital monitors whisper soft rhythms. Recycled air carries faint herbal note from ointments applied to cuts gained during frantic ascent. Biofoam patches wrap bruised limbs, gauze cradles mechanics repaired arm, yet atmosphere feels lighter than any weightless chamber endured before. Cot near aft bulkhead supports slight frame curled beneath thermal blanket salvaged from storage locker. Small forehead presses against coarse fabric of flight jacket resting beside her. Every exhale eases tension carved into muscles during long siege, every inhale gathers fragments of hope drifting through cabin. Hand bearing calloused lines slides over tiny shoulder, forming gentle arc of warmth. Pendant tucked beneath blanket offers subdued glow, crystalline lattice satisfied after sealing beacon core. Hushed cabin hum wraps pair in cocoon, shielding fragile bond from distant crackle of calm traffic. Guardian's gaze traces cabin ceiling where microfractures glisten like constellations absent from charts. Heart recalls ash-choked corridors, hydroponic shadows, trembling voice that asked for impossible gift. Answer given without hesitation still resonates, stronger than thrum of drives nudging vessel onward. Promise extends beyond survival, beyond shattered colony husk. Promise demands shelter, nourishment, laughter found in markets orbiters seldom reach. Promise urges cultivation of garden memory sought in greenhouse ruins, seeds nursing vibrant leaves under genuine sunlight. Eyes close, vision drifts toward horizon imagined outside viewport. Settlement perched on emerald plain, wind brushing tall grasses, children chasing drones until dusk paints sky ochre. No raider roar, no alarm shriek, only calm dusk song of distant avian wings slicing through warm air. Convoy banka chimes alignment with patrol escorts. Hull vibration changes pitch as autopilot hands guidance to Allied frigate beacon. Relief spreads among passengers, though vigilance lingers. Guardian whispers vow into cabin hush. Vow to craft safe harbor equal to courage displayed by child who bridged chasm between desolation and rebirth. Pressure within chest loosens when slight hand reaches upward, fingers intertwining with larger ones in silent affirmation. Outside viewport, crimson smear of dawn rises over gas giant limb, heralding fresh cycle untainted by plundered jump drive or rampaging brigands. Capsule glides toward docking corridor, treatment monitors switch to standby, medbay lights dim further to conserve cell capacity. Within tender twilight of closing chapter, Guardian holds sleeping companion, eyes fixed on horizon forming beyond reinforced glass, heart charting route toward life worthy of whispered request and unwavering response. He stayed.